And now, The Bonfire with Big J. Okerson and Robert Kelly.
And you were still Bobby Kelly. You took it for a minute where you snapped at me one time. He goes, Robert Kelly. I'm like, okay.
I never did that.
100%.
I snapped at you because I didn't
100%.
like you back
yes.
then.
But that was the reason you gave.
Because you went from rapper to rock guy, and I didn't like it.
It was a mid-aughts transition.
It was no, but it's like I changed my name to Robert because of SAG. I went in for Bobby Kelly, and there was a guy, Bobby Kelly, some poet or some actor in New Hampshire had that name. So I went for Robert Kelly. My name in SAG is Robert Donlin Kelly because I had to put my mother's maiden name because I couldn't have it. So then I got my...
Donlin's definitely sounds like a Highlander clan.
Donlin? Yeah.
The Donlins.
There can only be one.
Sometimes people introduce me as Robert, and then I'm like, oh, hi, Rob. And then they think that I had an issue with them saying Robert, and then they think I'm an asshole right away. Like,
so it's your fault?
Yeah, and they're like, oh, sorry, I didn't mean to say Robert. I'm like, it's the fucking same.
Who gives a shit?
Yeah, I don't even know what I said.
Because De Niro, when people call him Robert De Niro, but his friends call him Bobby.
Right,
which
right.
bugs me.
No.
Or any extra who was ever on Sopranos calls him Bobby, too.
Calls him Bobby.
Yeah,
exactly.
That would drive me so nuts. There's me and Metzger used to do all the time when you're like, he goes, yeah, I saw the new Robert De Niro movie yesterday. What's that? Robert goes, oh, Bobby De Niro.
Bobby.
Oh, shit,
Bobby
okay,
D, and
yeah.
then it goes to Bobby D.
Bobby
Oh,
D.
I didn't know. Oh, you call him, you must not have ever been sitting across a restaurant from him by accident once.
Yeah. Yeah, that's why I named my kid Maximus. I didn't want to have to go through stupid. But now people
You
call
also
him,
thought Coliseum fighting was going to be coming back at some point.
it actually is.
Yeah.
It's coming. The Slap Fest, and then it's going back into Roman Gladiator.
You really did name your son to throw beer kegs over a wall like a strongman contest.
Well, people-
Maximus von Magnuson.
I told you my grandmother was kind of racist because I'm going to name him Max. She goes, that's a Jewish name. You
Jeez.
can't name him Max because she's so Irish Catholic. So I had it's Maximus, and I had to find a Saint Maximus, and I had to bring the thing in where all his credentials is Saint Maximus, and show her. She goes, all right, I'm going to call him Maximus then.
What's he the
As a
saint
saint.
of, though? It'd be great.
I forget what
Pimple
it was.
popping.
Yeah, well, they have a saint for everything. They have a Saint Jew, I think.
Saint Jew?
Yeah, Saint Jew.
That's the kids' hospital, you son of a bitch.
When I had to make my confirmation, they basically tell you, like, there's every saint.
Yeah.
Like, go any fucking name you want to pick,
Yeah,
just pick it.
there's
Yeah.
any saint, but they
Nah, I have a feeling Black Lou's got some family that there's no saint names for.
Saint Jeremiah, Saint Jojo, Jojo Dancer.
Yeah, Saint Jeff Cole.
So, dude, it's good to have you in, man.
Thanks for having me, man.
I've seen your podcast. It's a great podcast. You guys have been friends. You guys are best friends since you guys did the show, right?
Yeah, it's been like 27 years.
And that's odd on shows because usually when you do a show, you're best friends on it, and then it slowly fades away after because someone gets a job and blah blah blah, and it's like your surrogate family while you're filming, and then as soon as that filming's over, you see them once in a while or talk to them once in a while. But you guys stayed together forever.
Yeah, I think I don't know. It was all a very strange experience. But like, me and her are the only people who understand like what we went through, like how fucking crazy that was. Like, it was just kids going to auditions, and the next day it was like billboards in Times Square, and like everybody fucking loves Sopranos and this, and like a lot of those guys on that show were in their 40s, 50s, and they had been working their whole lives for this, and we were like, is this what everybody gets? Like, we didn't understand.
Did
like,
you have a passion for acting at that time?
No,
or
I never
put
did.
Into it? Yeah,
How
that's
old-
what
how
I
old-
heard,
hate
yeah.
acting.
How old were you?
I was 12 when I started.
Jeez, 12.
Well, are you in that Marilyn
No,
Manson?
somebody
dope
put that
video?
on my fucking whatever that's
Asshole.
called, the
Fucking Lou.
Wikipedia.
You're an
that's
asshole.
not me.
It's
But
on
people
IMDb.
people say it all the time. I should just start saying it.
You
yeah.
should just start saying it's you.
I know.
We
I
don't know
should.
that kid.
yeah,
The
I
kid's
should,
not coming out going, that's me.
I should just
God
say it.
damn.
I'll get a cease and desist from him one day.
DJ Lou won't even look at me.
I'm so proud of that fact.
I'm so excited.
Oh yeah, we were just talking before you came in about.
I was listening.
We were looking at the multiple personalities. Do
Yeah,
you
yeah,
think
yeah.
it exists?
I mean, that's when people act like that. Obviously, it's bullshit. Like I grew up in New York City. Of course, multiple personalities exist.
Exactly.
I grew up in a 40-story building that had like 40 apartments on each one. I could tell you it exists, but none were like, "Oh, now I'm Bill." Like they were just like eating cement one day, and they're like, "Oh, that's the other guy." Like it was just,
You had to name them.
right? Yeah, right.
I lived in a building on 47th Street, and there was this, it looked like a German sex dude. And he would show up some days, the nicest guy ever, come out, talk, and then some days...
Next day, German sex dude.
He would come out and just ignore me. I'd be like, hey, man, what's up? And he'd walk by like grumpy. And I was like, this guy has 2 different personalities. Or it's twins, and I only see them...
I was thinking alcoholic.
I don't know, man.
I definitely, when I was drinking, I had people who were like, you'd see them and you'd be like, oh, what's up? And then you'd see them not drunk and you'd be like, hey. You know?
Oh, that is an interesting thing, too. Yeah, I mean, if you're talking multiple personalities like that, like Nate Bargatze, we call him Red State Nate. Red State Nate, when Nate got hammered, it was a different person you were talking to.
Oh, my God, dude. Red State Nate, he would just start trashing everybody around him.
Yeah.
He was the best.
Christine's got 2 personalities, sober and fun.
I wonder who gave her those.
I did name them. Hey, this is fun.
Yeah, you thought I was so fun.
Until it wasn't, yeah.
I got to be honest with you, man. I'm a fan of Sopranos. I love the show. I don't know if you know this, too.
You're the guy.
I had
You
a
hated
show.
AJ. I'm ready for it.
No. Yes, I hated you.
Yeah.
When I watched it the first time, because I had a show on right after your show, Torgasm.
Oh, yeah, of course.
You were our lead-in.
Yeah.
Which was...
You're welcome.
No shit.
Pretty good lead-in, pal. Yeah.
It was fucking nuts. That it went from...
You're watching
the great-
Gambinos and then Bobby playing flag football with Gary Goldman and Dane Cook.
It was the fucking craziest programming ever, because it went from the greatest show ever to fucking me, Dane Cook, Gary Goldman, and Jay Davis. Dude, you're fucking around, man. You're fucking breaking the rules. It was crazy, but I remember I hated you. I just fucking hated you. But I just went back now as a father and rewatched all the episodes in the last couple years, and I fucking love your character.
Oh,
I
wow.
actually
I thought
went
you were going to say you didn't hate.
I
Love
felt
is big.
I
What's the shift? What's the shift in you that you saw different?
He was Tony. He was his father. He was the exact same. You watch the show now. The first time I watched it, you're watching it and just waiting for somebody to get whacked.
Yeah.
And then you go back and you watch it now, and there's so much fucking crazy depth to this show. He had the same shit you had. But he had the mafia. He had this family to join other than his other family, and you were given everything. It happens a lot too with like people, like families who have to struggle to survive, and then the next generation doesn't, and they wind up, going to college and not doing anything because everything was given to them. In the show, Tony had to do what he had to do to survive, to make money. So all his fucked upness went into that. You didn't have that. And you had the same shit that your father had in that. But they're just calling you stupid, idiot, fucking dummy. And, you got everything. And you were just struggling in it to fucking survive. If he brought you into the family...
Right.
AJ would have been a different guy. AJ would have been like his father. AJ would have fucking killed a lot of people. AJ would have been the boss of the family if he brought you in, but he didn't. They were trying to send you to school. You weren't going to college. You weren't, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Bobby, you're emotional behind this is so funny to someone who played the character who's like, sure, and you're like, it's just the way fathers and sons, man, the way.
Am I crazy?
No, but I also think that when you're broke, you have a lot less time to sit around and think about how you're depressed. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think that's what I fucking hated about age. Like, I grew up broke, and watching him, and you see this kid who just like, doesn't get one thing he wants, and then he's fucking can't get out of bed for a week, and then you're just like, get the fuck out. Where like you said, Tony had to be doing all this shit. Where it's like he couldn't sit around and be depressed. He had to go fucking,
there was no
cut somebody's
therapy.
pinky, or like
When
whatever.
you were just stupid and you were dumb.
Yeah.
So they went on the street and they fucking robbed people and did that thing. They had their own little sixth family, they called it in the show, right?
Yeah.
All those guys. And you had the lap of luxury. And you went to therapy and they tried to fix you. Nobody tried to fix him. He had to try to fix himself, right?
Right.
And I look back on it. I was like, AJ, I felt so bad for you the second time going through it.
Did you feel bad that you hated me so much?
No, I mean, you were an asshole in the show.
Yeah.
I mean,
He goes, brutal. That's the surprise ending. Bobby, you were the piece of shit the whole time.
Last season, you become hysterically unlikable.
Yeah, extremely depressed and just
but then
just a wet
business-
blanket.
Like kind of a business douche at the end with the
yeah.
which I loved.
Well, I'm going to ask,
And
away
this-
from
and your sister.
I'm sorry, but away from the characters itself, when you started doing, you lived in New York.
Yeah, I grew up in the
Always.
city my whole life. Yeah.
So was it crazy to your friends when you got something like so big, or is it kind of like it's not that wild? I guess here in New York.
Well, no, it wasn't even a New York thing. Like adults in New York would go crazy, but kids.
Yeah.
I mean, there were no. I was 12, 13, 14. There were no 13, 14-year-olds like,
That
oh, I
watched
watch
the show.
HBO and like.
But at some point, did you find? Because I said, I remember there was a kid who did such low level like acting stuff in South Jersey where I was growing up, and like even like in like just a commercial or something. I mean, it was like the coolest kid, but then also like and on that level, that's just like a commercial. On your level, did you find like jealousy like shit in schools? I think you just got homeschooled or
No, I went to school. I never saw that. I talked about this before, like with Jamie and shit. It's like in New York, people kind of looked at acting as a thing that like you did, but they didn't really care as much. Where like you go to L.A. and it was like, you know, when a toddler comes out after a bath and he's like in his pajamas and everyone's like, you did it! Like when you go L.A., any room you walked into, people would just like they want to be around you and talk to you, and like. I don't know. That feeling was always gross to me, you know.
Yeah.
And I love New York, where like, yeah, of one out of 10 people is like a little excited, but most people would be like, oh yeah, you're on that thing. Like, you know, they don't even want to say the name of it, or people call it like a movie. You know, they'd be like, you're on that movie. You know, where like in LA, it was like they're giving names to you and like.
Did you live out there for a little bit? Did you give it a
No,
shot?
I mean, I spent like a year out there. I spent COVID out there, and just like you're like, what the fuck is it? It's not for me. Yeah,
Me either.
I'm a New York guy, even though now I'm in Austin. But
It's a weird thing because some people are LA. Like I have friends that moved to LA and they love it. I went out there for 2 years and I wanted to kill myself.
I just don't. I don't get any. I mean, like the weather's great. You can go anywhere and get good weather, I guess. But like, I just nothing really about it. Like there's like good healthy food. And I don't know. Nothing.
That's made Jacob happy out there. Good healthy food.
Yeah.
He goes really good healthy
he
food.
could get. Yeah, he loved. There was a lot of couscous out there.
Couscous. Yeah, it was easy to find couscous. Yeah.
After the show, when it was done, it was such a big moment in television history. How was it? How was the drop off after the show? Like, was it a hard thing, or did you go right into something else, or
I went right into drinking and doing drugs. And, yeah, right in. Just no
multiple personalities?
Yeah.
Can we see the beast?
Yeah, right.
What if it was him?
Show me the beast.
Show me the beast.
I honestly, you know, like James Gandolfini was kind of like the leader around there, and whatever his kind of feeling towards something was, we kind of all just were like, yeah, that's the feel, like, you know, because he was so great to us, and you know, everybody's heard the stories of him like giving us money and just like cutting us checks and taking us places, and he wouldn't negotiate until we were done negotiating because he didn't want it to be seen like he was taking the money. Like, he did everything right. So I think he was ready to be done. I think David Chase was ready to be done, and then it just kind of trickled down to like, yeah, we're ready for it to be done. And then I was 22 and I had been working since I was 6 years old, and I was like, I just want to fucking hang out. Like, I just want to hang out with my friends. I went to Vegas for 2 weeks and came home 18 months later.
Wow.
Did you have friends you feel like that took advantage?
No, again, I don't know if it's like I got really lucky with like my best friend has been my best friend for about 34 years. I was just the best man at his wedding, everything, and like I just, it was always easy for me, you know. Like, they were the people who were like my family, my brothers, and then there were the people who was like, yeah, we party together and whatever. But I never, you know, there were a few people who like, you know, stole $500 from me out of my fucking pay, like, you know, silly shit. But no, I was pretty lucky.
But I'm saying they look at you as like the cash cow in the sense that it's like, we'll go hang at his house because they'll be stocked up with shit and everything we need.
No, because I lived in a 1-bedroom apartment. I didn't buy shit for anybody. Like,
Really?
I never
Nice.
I never owned a car. Like, I was always just like, I don't know. I think I was just happy to not, like, you know, my grandfather was a super, and that's what I was supposed to be if I was lucky. Like, if I didn't fuck up, I'd be the super. And then
Nice.
like, to now be this, I was like,
You don't have to pay rent.
Yeah, that was it. But I'm like, now I was just like, yo, like, I don't fuck this up, you know? So I was always, and even like, I think it was after Jim passed away, but James Gandolfini, I found out that he used to call my manager all the time and be like, hey, is he all right? Who is he hanging out with? How much money is he spending? Is he this? And he would tell him not to tell me, which is like the opposite of LA. You know,
Yeah.
LA would be like, oh, you know, I called your manager. And then my manager finally told me one day, he's like, yeah, I used to check up on you all the time.
So did you at the end of it? Did you have a chunk of change?
Yeah.
You had
Like,
a-
I was chilling. I was all right. And like, I really, luckily, made some good investments in like Apple and Netflix. And
You
like,
invested in Apple?
Yeah, yeah.
Shit.
Yeah, I bought like things. I made like, not like a insane ton of money, but just enough to where I was like, oh, I don't really have to like.
I invested in Apple a month ago. I think I missed the boat.
Ground level, dude.
Yeah.
I'm hoping it splits again.
I think they have some interesting phone stuff coming out.
I got fucking stupid Louis J. Gomez took $1,000. He bought $1,000 worth of crypto on my phone. What a dickhead!
Yeah.
Well, you're down there in Rogan country, man. He's going to get you doing all kinds of weird shit with money.
Yeah, that's right.
Do you want to start a vitamin farm?
A vitamin farm?
No, thank
So
you, Joe.
that's good, man. You have some of that cash, so you don't have to. So you didn't want to go back in and do it because you must have had a bunch of offers thrown at you to do something else after.
Yeah, I mean, Scorsese wasn't knocking on my door, but like a lot of, like, I mean, you could scroll through Netflix for fucking 7 hours. Like, if I really, like, I remember I would get a call to do jury duty like every few years, and I'd call my manager and be like, I need a fucking job. Like, I'm not going to this shit, because I was taking like 15 Percocets a day. I'm like, how do I sneak this shit past the metal detector and the guards and stuff? So they're just
going
like,
to see me snorting and crushing pills.
That's how you take it,
yeah.
and then you go through.
But I needed one every 30 minutes at that point,
So
you know?
you
Your Honor, I need to go to the bathroom and pull something out of my butt real quick.
I go for jury duty, I get 7 years somehow.
So you got fucked up at the end. You went on drugs and all that.
No, not at the end. I mean, I started smoking and drinking when I was like 12, and I was like partying the whole time.
On the show.
Yeah, and then, I forget how old I was, 18, 17. At some point we had a year off, and I just fucking, from the day we stopped until the day we came back, I was just partying.
Really?
Every day. Yeah, it was all I think.
Did the cast or get involved ever? Or anybody on the cast?
No, I
He said he
didn't.
would ask about you. Did he feel something was happening?
I didn't really let people see the like third day of partying me or like second day of party. It was always like, from if we went out drinking at 8, at 4 a.m. I was chilling. Like,
But did you feel like you were hiding it though? Like you were actively trying to hide it, or were you just like, I just do what I do and come to work?
No, it was more like once the cocaine and stuff like that came out, it was like, all right, put garbage bags over the windows, like, a room like this, and you just stay in there for 2 days instead of like, I wasn't the guy who was like, I want to do cocaine and go to 24-hour fucking after-hour clubs. And it's
So
like, I did that shit.
You did drugs and stayed the fuck home.
Look, Christine's smiling. She's like, right?
Yeah.
She says, she always told me when she was younger, she did coke. And she always says the scene in a movie that freaks her out the most, that she has a hard time, was in Boogie Nights when Heather Graham and Julianne Moore are on the bed and they're just going like, they're just doing coke, and she goes, let's just stay in this room forever. And I'm like, will you be my mom? I'll be your mom. And she goes, that's just her and her friends just in a room, like making plans to live in that room forever.
Oh, yeah, I would see
we
people,
don't need more than this.
I would see people who I'd be like, they'd be like, how's your grandma? And like ask you these intimate questions. I'd be like, what? And I'd be like, oh yeah, we had like a 13-hour conversation one night, and like I'm like, fuck,
That's how it goes, how dare you talk about my...
Yeah. Dude, Vegas was crazy. I moved to Vegas alone.
What, did you at a hotel, or did you like have a house? Or?
So I was staying at a hotel. I was staying at the Rio for a long time, and then they'd make
home of the comedy show.
That's where the World Series of Poker was. So I was like, fuck it, like I want to be here.
Oh, that's where you did professional poker.
I was playing a lot of poker, so I after 30 days they make you leave and check out and come back in because they don't want people starting fucking whorehouses and drug houses out of there. So like crack houses. So every 30 days they'd come knocking and be like, yeah, you got to get out, because I would have to do not disturb on for 30 fucking days, and then they would come and be like, all right, you got to get out of here. So I would leave and check in, and then finally, like, I did really well at the World Series of Poker, and I was like, you know what, let me go on fucking Craigslist. And I looked, and like the nicest building on the strip had an apartment that was insane for like $2,400 a month, and I was like, okay, like I'm just gonna move. Like I went there, I saw the lady, and she was like, do you like it? I was like, I'll take it. And I just fucking like had a suitcase and put it in there and was there for...
How much money did you win at the World Series of Poker?
So I entered the main event, which is, I think it was 8,000 people, and I got 275th place. It paid like 40-something thousand.
Wow, that's great.
So I was just like, oh, I'm just gonna chill and like have a good time with this. But then, a year and a half, however long later, when I went home, like I opened my front door and there was like a Poland Spring open like this, just sitting on the couch, like nothing. There was just like dust. Nothing had gone on in this apartment, and I was like, what the fuck? And like I actually had to... You see people like carrying briefcases and suits, and you're like, what is this? Like you have to get back into real life, because Vegas is just like... there were probably like 3-month periods I didn't see a child. Like you just don't see, I'd wake up at 6 p.m. I'd go play poker until 5 a.m. And I was just fucking taking painkillers.
You didn't smile for 6 months,
right? Yeah.
Or were you like you were good at poker in the sense that like you think overall like you did really well on it, like to survive, like enough to survive for beyond the year?
Yeah, I think it's more not that I was so good at poker, because I've been lucky enough to play with like some of the best in the world, and you're like, wow, these guys are like, you see that you're not that. But then I also know that like the guy who his wife lets him play once a month, and I'm a lot better than that guy. Like that guy's in trouble.
Did you ever like scam? Were you in like scams with other people?
No, I remember like one of my first, again, like growing up in New York City, I would just see like, I think growing up in New York City, you're around the best scammers, and then I would see these like whack scammers in Vegas, and I'd be like, dude, you're not even doing it right. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you're just like, you're like sloppy, and like, I remember one guy came up to me, and he's like, don't ever, let anybody in the city take advantage of you. There's going to be a lot of people like, asking you for this and that, blah. And then 2 days later, I saw him, and he's like, listen, if you ever want to talk about something, we can go to blackjack and you sit down and with your money, but I'll tell you what to do and you'll win this. I'm like, you just told me to fucking stay away from you. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm like, but I'm like, yeah,
That's the
sure.
pit move. There's a lot of dangerous guys out here. You're going to need me to help you from that.
yeah. I was like, Saved by the Bell or some shit, Yeah.
Hey, what's up? I'm BK Burglar, Bob Kelly, a.k.a. The Rooster.
I'm Big J. Okerson. I only have one AKA.
I'm a cowboy.
Look, if you love the Bonfire, which you know you do,
You
this
do.
is just half of the show.
That's
it.
right. This is the podcast version, everybody. So if you want to hear the whole thing, go to SiriusXM.com/bonfire to get the whole thing.
Yeah, you get tons of other entertainment, too. It's not just us. You got other shows that you can go to after you listen to our show. You can go to all kinds of other shows. And you know what? Tell a friend.
But most importantly, this show.
Yeah, this show. Just go to this show.
Do something resembling anything.
I actually auditioned for The Sopranos. I got down to me, this other dude, and who's that fucking old comedian, New York guy, Pat something.
Cooper.
Pat Cooper.
Oh, wow.
It was me, this other dude, and Pat Cooper.
To be the fat gay guy?
No, I wasn't fat at the time.
Just gay?
Yeah. Oh, it's just the gay guy?
Let me tell you something. I feel bad for that fucking dude, because that's the only when you think about The Sopranos, it's like, dude, you're the guy that blew people.
I do feel it's funny. One of my favorite restaurants in Long Island, Vincent's Clam Bar, and for a while he had like a residency there, like signing his book on Sundays, and it's just like you feel bad because like it just wasn't a big line.
Yeah.
You're like, oh man, poor guy.
Well, that's what's weird. It's like there's, I was very lucky to be from like episode 1 to the last one, and but there's a lot of people who got their fame on that show and like didn't make a lot of money, and it's
the
unfortunate.
The guy I was auditioning for was a guy who gets killed, which was a big. When you're auditioning for that show, to be somebody who got killed was a big thing, because that's what everybody loved, the murder. They were waiting for somebody to get whacked. And to be the guy that got whacked, it was the waiter that got killed by Chrissy and what's his name? I forget. Paulie. They killed him out front. He came out for the tip or some shit.
Oh, okay.
Pat didn't get it either, but he walked out and fucking did 15 minutes and just murdered in the thing. I go, fucking just let me go home. But
Right.
I remember I went in and I did the audition, but I was doing hands.
Yeah.
I was so big, and the lady took me, and the guy who wrote it was there. The
David Chase?
David Chase was there.
Wow.
So,
So, it's probably Georgianne Walken, who's Christopher Walken's wife.
exactly who it was.
Yeah.
She liked me. She was great. She grabbed me. She goes, "Can I talk to you for a second?" In the other, she goes, "Sit on your hands." And
Wow.
I went, what?
How do
She
you
goes,
recover from that?
You don't.
You don't.
I didn't
That's
get it.
It's the audition's over.
She goes, "Sit on your hands."
Yeah.
Because my hands were flailing.
Can you change everything about yourself?
Yeah, exactly. Everything you worked on for the last 3 days, thinking you were going to be on Sopranos, just lose it.
Did your parents push you in acting?
Can you take off 2 of your extremities, please? Because they're bugging David.
David wants a guy not so many hands.
Yeah.
No, my parents never really pushed me. They so I was 6 years old walking down the street in New York City with my dad, and the guy who's still my manager today just stopped him and was like, "Hey, your son should be in show business," and that was it.
It's amazing that it didn't end in him molesting you.
I know, and he's a gay guy too.
That's fucking
Yeah.
absolutely wild that story. That's the one time that's worked out.
I know.
Everything else ends in a mall bathroom finger blast.
100%.
That would actually make me feel bad. I would actually be like, I'd go to your manager and go, "Why'd you never fucking molest me?"
Yeah, I should. I'm leaving you.
I wasn't cute enough?
You should go, "Can I ask you a question?" It was because I started getting stuff right away, because I feel like you were going to molest me, right? And then you realized I was worth more unmolested.
Yeah.
there was no agency, right? Like it's just
You did want me, right?
right. Yeah.
And your dad was like, get out there.
Hey, do you think?
Yeah.
It's fun. So you just kind of were like, you just kind of did it because you were like walked into it, basically.
Yeah, and I think that's another, thing that I'm super thankful for is like the, standing on stage with people applauding never did it for me. Like it made me uncomfortable. Like I was like, I don't want to be up here. I shouldn't be up here. I don't deserve this. So we're like, and there's a lot of people in show business who like always want this attention and this, where I'm like, I spend 9 days out of 10 alone. Like I don't want to be around people.
Well, you have OCD, right?
No, like I'm a light, like I have my things that like I take care of, so then I'm good. But like I definitely, I got an STD when I was like 22, and ever since then I'm like everyone's dirty.
Yeah,
Like,
dude, that's the initiation. If you don't have STD, you didn't do fucking.
Right? Yeah.
Everybody in here's got warts.
Oh, that's also one of our favorite
Right, guys?
fun facts. Yeah, unless you're gay. Lou. We have a friend of our show here, celebrity super chef Nikki Dinky, and one of her things was she did a handful of acting stuff, and one of them was a love scene with you in The Sopranos, where she
Me?
yeah, she's so hot.
How adorable
She's
was that?
She's an adorable
this
mother of two.
That was AJ. Me?
Yeah, because I'm like, what?
Oh yes, no, AJ, the character.
Right, yeah.
We have it right. I know we have the part up there, but it's just such a funny thing for her. She's such like a mom baker, like her whole
Candlestick
thing is cooking.
maker.
Yeah. Her whole thing is cooking, like with vegetables and everything. So just go there. It's just funny that like, and there's just her in her underwear and bra in the show.
I gotta find the scene, but this is her. If
Do you,
that
do you remember her?
Well, she was 16 at the time, so.
And we had like a love scene.
You remember
Yeah.
it?
Are you fucking with me?
Swear to God. Swear to God. I mean, unless she's fucking with us.
I feel like
No,
like
we found it.
she seems familiar, but I don't remember a love scene.
Is it love scene?
No,
the
it's
right
not
word?
love scene.
Was she
not
the one
a-
in the like a limousine?
I know she's in her
She
bra and
had- she's in her
underwear.
bra.
Couch or something.
It was 2006.
Maybe you're just screwing around.
Get her on the horn.
You know what I
We're
mean?
just screwing around.
Someone call her.
He was only a kid in the show. It's not like he's banging.
Who's got her number? Someone call her. Oh, you got it, Lou, right? Yeah. Hit up the dink.
We have all the wrong info on you.
Yeah.
Marilyn Manson.
You were the
Yeah.
ma-
I mean, listen, there is a possibility I don't remember everyone I made out with when I was 22. I'm
Of
just,
course
you
not.
know, I'm not saying it didn't happen. I'm not.
Oh, no one would blame you for this. It's, a million years ago at this
But she
point.
cooks vegetables. I like that. I'm into that now.
Are you into vegetables?
I'm into
Jeez.
vegetables now.
She's
Yeah.
an awesome cook.
Really?
She really is.
I
How are
like
you
that.
liking Austin?
Oh, I'm such an opinionated guy, and I kind of have no opinion about all. Like I'm like, yeah, it's cool. I would never still tell someone to move there or not move there. Like it's like,
it is kind of how I feel about it too. I understand
Yeah,
why. Like,
it's
we have a
a
bunch of friends
place.
that went, but it was like completely tax reasons, which I understand.
Did you
Yeah.
move there for the podcast to be closer?
So I went to so I originally went to LA to start a podcast with Jamie, and then I was like, oh, I don't like LA, but then COVID hit and I was staying there, and I was like, I want to keep doing this pod. And then I went to visit Jamie for her birthday, and Tom and Christina, who had me on YMH, and they came on to do the pod I was doing with Jamie, and they were like, we want you to come do a pod for us. And the guys, so like some of the biggest poker players in the world opened up like a poker club in Austin, and Austin had
wow.
become like one of the biggest places to play poker. And I was like, I'll try a year here, and then I'm sober now, and I'm trying to be healthy, and like that's a great spot for that.
Oh, good for you. You got sober.
Yeah,
How
oh
long
yeah,
you been
11
sober?
years.
Oh, good for you.
Yeah. It's
How do you-
boring, but it's
how do you
it's
keep
good.
how do you keep gambling on like problem calls, where it just never was for you?
Because I wasn't like I don't like if you're like let's go play roulette, I'm like no, I don't want to do that. But like poker to me is different. It's like a game of skill. It's a game of like
It's like
yeah,
playing a
game of-
sport.
Yeah, it's a game of skill. I mean, yeah, it feels weird when people call it a sport,
I
but
know,
it's like
but-
you know
but-
the same like.
Sure.
Like if all of us in a room sat at a poker table right now and played once, anybody could win. If we play 100 times, I'm winning every time. Like unless there's a great poker player in here, I don't know. But that's just yeah.
No.
You don't know this about me, Jay? I am a great poker player.
Oh yeah, I forgot. Massachusetts Kelly.
Yeah, dude, my bluff is huge.
Oh yeah, Massachusetts Kelly.
My wife thinks I'm straight.
Still looking.
She's massaging me. This is crazy.
She's massaging you.
She's on line 1.
You don't remember this?
No,
Wow.
this
Nick-
makes you seem like a real
Nikki?
piece of shit, huh?
Nikki.
Yeah.
It's celebrity super chef Nikki Dinky, everybody.
Hi, Nikki Dinky.
Hey, how we doing?
We have Rob Iler sitting in with us today, and
Wow, love it.
he said he said he remembers the heat from your butt crack on his back.
Yeah, this is the topic of the day. I love it.
Well, we're trying to find ways to connect with our new friend Rob, and one of them was to be like, "Hey, dude, we're Eskimo brothers with you."
Did you give him an
Wait,
STD?
No.
Are you the reason I have OCD?
Are you the reason he has OCD?
But yeah,
You know, I was picking up this call though. I heard him say he didn't remember.
No. They were fucking with you. Yeah, I don't remember.
Nikki, he's a star.
No, I'm not a star. I'm really not. I can't. I don't remember.
You don't remember the scene?
he doesn't know every single fucking rhubarb brownie maker he fucks, Dickie.
I never watched the show, but I'm super into the fact now that you make vegetables. That's exciting.
What the fuck?
I am.
What a rekindling.
Good.
Nikki's
I'm glad that you enjoy my vegetables.
she's a fantastic cook.
Oh, she's great.
Yeah, I never watched the show, so like this happened, and then it's been 16 years or
You
whatever.
don't, you don't
know what I
watch
mean?
the show because you don't want to see James, right?
I don't want to see James. I don't want to see me. Yeah, I don't want to. It's just Oh, this I remember, but wow, that's.
Can I tell you something? Makes you feel any better, Rob? It's that
right to this part.
she was a celebrity chef that was a regular guest on Wendy Williams. And Wendy Williams
Doesn't remember her either.
Doesn't remember her. Didn't enjoy her food. Treat her like an all-around asshole. And she's the sweetest lady I've ever met in my life.
She's literally the nicest.
I don't know
person
how
ever.
you could be mean to Nikki Dinky.
I think also like these scenes were always awkward for me. There's like 100 of your friends standing around while a woman you've maybe spent an hour with is then like uncomfortable because she's naked around you, and it's just a whole not great.
Yeah, and you're a kid.
Yeah, and again, like, you're taking your shirt off in front of like 100 bros. Like, like when we're on the set, everyone's like, you're outside smoking, and you're like, we're gonna go out drinking after this, that, and then you're like taking your
Do you
shirt
understand?
off.
Jay would quit The Sopranos.
Oh my God! Before I take my shirt off for a scene, all right, this one's swimming. He goes, nah, this should be fucking in a cold, somewhere in the cold where I have a lot of stuff on.
The only thing I ever said I wouldn't do was they wanted me to get in a Speedo and jump into a pool, and I said I wouldn't do it.
Good for you.
I didn't do that for Bert Kreischer either.
Draw the line, the Speedo.
The Speedo is where he drew the line.
100%. I was always fat and
Well,
not.
the reason we got Nikki on the show is to let you know, Rob, she kept the baby. And you know. His name's Robbie Jr.
At least he's healthy.
He goes,
Yeah.
yeah, and this kid has never had meat in his life.
His iron levels are incredible.
Who else is in this scene?
Who else is in the
No,
scene?
Vicky.
Oh, Nick Novicki.
Other people. I mean, it was a long time ago.
Yeah, well, you remember this one. It was a midget. His name's Nick Novicki. He's a comedian friend of ours. Look at that. Look at you massaging us.
He was not really in that scene, was he?
Yeah, see, she doesn't remember.
You don't remember a midget.
Whoa.
You can't get mad at Robert not remembering one of 75 people.
Nikki.
Thank you.
Nick Novicki
And
looks.
Nick.
He looks like the Beast.
He really does.
I remember Nick.
You
I remember
yeah.
Nick.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because he's a little person.
Yeah. No massage from Nick, and I remember
You
Nick.
don't remember the hot blonde on your ass? You remember the little guy with the perm?
Yeah, I remember his lines.
Nikki, in fairness, he is face down away from you.
That's right. It could have been anybody.
Maybe if next time he comes in, maybe if you come straddle his back, he'll be like, "Oh, Nicky Dinky."
Right, yeah. I remember that touch.
Can we reenact this scene?
Well,
Oh
Nikki,
my God.
we need
That would be lovely. I'm so glad that you guys included me in this conversation.
I know you.
Really,
I know you're
really
being.
been
I feel like
just
you're being
reminiscing.
sarcastic.
Hey, next time we have 3 transsexuals on, can you come in with cupcakes so they can eat?
Oh God, whatever makes them not talk. It was the worst. I would have rather sucked those trans dicks than hear them talk for one more second.
You should have said that.
I should have offered. Nikki, we have to have you on again real soon. Is there anything you want to plug?
Oh my gosh. And just me, Little,
Nice.
Yeah.
What do you have, an OnlyFans or something now?
Oh my gosh, guys. Well, thank you for including me. I'm sorry that I wasn't as memorable as I
No,
hoped,
don't you
but
dare.
No,
next
it's me.
time.
It's the Xanax. And
Yeah,
the
he was
Percocets.
taking 9 Percocets a day. It's
Yeah,
not you.
on a
Yeah, this
good
guy had
day.
like a whole like less than zero a couple years before since he's been back. So he remembers you, Nikki. We just looked at the video.
Yeah, I'm playing hard to get. I remember you.
Nikki, for what it's worth,
He's got a
we've all
sliding
whacked
mic.
off to it. What makes you feel any better? We've all masturbated to it. Live in
Oh,
that.
thank you. It's really touching. I always
Thank you.
appreciate your support.
Live in that reality, and everything's going to be good.
Love you, Nikki.
Love you, Nikki Dinky.
Thanks, guys. Love you.
What made you guys ask if I had OCD when I came in? Is that a thing about?
Well,
Is that
I
like-
saw the podcast
There
you
was the
did
Howie
with,
Mandel,
with Howie
yeah.
Mandel,
yeah.
and I saw. Well, it was a weird situation to be in because you were kind of going to him almost like, hey, I have this too, and he was kind of trying to get out of it a little bit, make it funny, and you were kind of. It was a little uncomfortable. It wasn't as weird as people made it. I don't think.
Yeah, no, I think, again, I think it was just like we didn't vibe. But I think when I look back on that, I think like we're in such a weird time with like this whole cancel culture, this shit. Where like when you say like, yeah, he was kind of a dick. Like all of a sudden, this sparks this thing that everybody, oh my god, this. Where it's like, no, we just didn't vibe. Like
He doesn't respect your ailments or whatever.
Right, yeah. It was just
Well,
like,
it
no,
was-
we just did. You like, it was like, okay, like you meet somebody and you don't vibe. Like if he was at a dinner, I wouldn't have been talking about him a month later, because people kept putting out videos about it and this, and you're like, well,
he did a couple shots though, where he was like, oh, I don't even know who you guys are. Like,
but then also said he was a big fan. So
yeah,
you're like,
it was
what?
weird.
Like,
It's
I
like,
just,
first of all, you know who you guys are.
well, he was L.A.
yes.
Yeah.
LA.
He's LA,
It's LA,
which is, it's cool. Like his all good. But I just, I think it was just in general, like, we didn't vibe, but because it's the fucking internet and the days we're in, it's like, oh my God, these
Yeah,
people
but it
didn't
sucks
like
though
these
because you were
people.
opening up about something that's so personal to you that people like you were trying to, for people that are out there that have the same thing. Here's another famous guy. We have the same thing. Do you have any advice? Do you have any of this? And he was just kind of fucking brushing you off, and it was kind of a dick move. And then I understand it got confusing, but you were actually being real, and he was being.
Well, do
silly.
you have to fight it being debilitating?
No, I think it's more so just like when I'm gonna eat, like my hands really have to be clean. Something about like my home and my bed, like I need to be like when I'm watching a fucking 90 Day Fiance and somebody puts their suitcase on the bed, I almost throw up. Like I'm like, these people are
You could
so disgusting.
Never live with
Thank you.
Christine.
I
am-
am such a neat freak. Jay's lying.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't know that.
Oh, no,
Who am I talking to
I'll throw
now?
a suitcase up. I'll throw a suitcase up on my
Yeah,
bed in
Jay
a
puts a
second.
suitcase
Oh,
on the
I'm
bed.
so gross because I think about all of it. Like I think about, again, I spend a lot of time alone, which just has you thinking. And like you take your suitcase, you put it on the fucking conveyor belt, it gets thrown with all the other suitcases. It's all in the thing. They throw it back out there, and then you're like, yeah, I'm gonna toss this on my bed tonight.
Well, it's funny on different levels. I think it's just different things. Some people have that kind of broad spectrum. I have a certain I'm not super big. Like I said, like swimming in lakes. Like to me, it's because everyone's like, it's man-made. It's fresh, clean water. I go, it's on top of and surrounded by dirt and bugs and what. I'm like, not clean is a weird word for it.
Yeah.
So like I kind
My
of have
lake,
that too.
my lake is clean. Squam Lake.
Is that what you want to think?
It's the cleanest lake in America.
You don't even
one of
belong in
them.
the association.
I am in the fucking association. Go fuck yourself. You know who I am? I'm sorry.
man.
I'm just reenacting.
Bobby got
something.
chumped by a guy in his association
Yeah,
recently.
I got simped. I really did get cucked right in front of my kid
Twice.
too.
A week ago, you were hand fanning a transsexual in that very seat, transgender,
I've had a bad week.
This has been a rough one.
I've had a bad week as a
and
man.
then an actual man almost beat you up in front of your boy.
he didn't beat me up.
Almost.
But yeah, though that whole thing that happened with him, but it's like, I know people who have OCD and stuff like that. I don't give a shit. I've shit in the Dunkin' Donuts. I've sat on the seat without wiping it.
Shitting is the worst. That's a big one for me. I
Me too.
can't.
That's actually a big one for me.
I can't.
I
just
sat
came
in
back- I
somebody's
just-
pee.
I just came back from the nightmare of that. That's the only problem with a tour like we were doing. I was on Burt Kreischer's Fully Loaded, and that is you're not going to the hotel right away. When you get up and you got to go, it's backstage trying to find. By the way, I'll go in and lock the door on the multiple stall bathroom and still just be like you'll hear people ringing, and I'm just like, nope. I'm just gonna act like it's not happening. I hate all, and then the sitting on it. I hate public
Is that
shitting.
bad with you too?
I'm so bad. I did an acting thing for Tom recently, Segura, and he's like, I don't know what you're allowed to say, whatever. Like the show got picked up by somebody and they want to do more of it. And the first thing I think of when he's like, "You ready to do a few more episodes?" I'm like, "Where do I shit?" Like that's it. It's like I'm like, where? Like I don't want to fucking memorize lines, but also, where do I shit? Like when, because the worst is like. So, I mean, everybody's talked about this before when you're an actor, but like usually you have a PA following you around and they're like, yeah, Robert's here, Robert's here, Robert's here. And now you're like, okay, I got to shit. So you have to tell them I have to shit. And then they're standing outside of the door, like waiting for you to. That is my nightmare. The worst.
Yeah, please.
It's the worst
stop
thing in the
telling
world.
people. It's like, stop telling people and stop doing.
Yeah, it's like, okay, Rob's done shitting now. Like, here he comes. And then you're walking on the set and everybody heard. They call it like 10:22. And they're like, yeah, Rob was just 10:22. And like everybody they should just say Rob was shitting.
If I've never woken up, I shouldn't say never, but very rarely, if ever, do I wake up in the middle of the night to take a shit. If I have to go to the airport at 4:30 in the morning, though, to get ready to think, I still wake up at like 4 in the morning and just sit in the bathroom for 25 minutes, no matter what. I'm like, please happen now.
Yeah.
And please don't happen when I'm there.
Be a gamer.
I hold my shit to shit in the Delta Lounge. Wow. God, do I love the Delta Lounge.
You're an animal.
I love it.
Wow.
But wait, by the way, people with that personality is the reason why I don't shit in the Delta Lounge.
Yeah.
Because someone comes in there and really makes a meal out of it.
Yeah.
Confident farting in public bathrooms weirds me out so much.
Oh, I hate
At
it.
the urinal?
Standing next to someone in a urinal, and
I
there's
know.
brrr, you're
Yeah.
like, dude.
I don't like hearing other people shit while I'm shitting though. That makes me throw up.
No, yeah.
When you hear just.
Oh, I hate it. I was so the other day was the gay parade here, and I was walking on like the West Side Highway, and I went into a bathroom, and there was a guy in like a fucking I went to take a piss. There was a guy in like a fairy wings, and he's talking to some other like big dude, and the guy's like, they're just hanging out. And the guy's like, guess how old I am. And he's like, why? Like, why would I guess how old I am? He's like, guess right, I'll give you $5. The guy with the fairy wings goes, show me the money. I was like, where the fuck am I? I'm like, I need to go back to Texas.
It's a strange thing happening right
yeah.
there.
I'm like,
That's the first thing Texas is going to change.
Yeah, there's none of this in
Yeah,
Texas.
the men are men and the women are women down there.
Yeah.
Faux show.
That's a weird gay game.
Yeah.
Make sure you listen to Robert's podcast he hosts with Jamie Lynn Siegler. Not Today, Pal. Available on your Mom's House Network and available wherever you listen. Dude, it's great to meet you, man. I
Yeah,
hope
man,
you come
thanks
on
for having
again.
me,
Great
man.
to meet you,
Yeah,
bro.
I don't have no CD, man.
Oh, that's
I'll
great,
see.
Look
man.
at this.
I didn't shake your hand because I thought you were gonna.
No.
Oh.
Am I
We
like
looked-
the Howie of?
No, what it was Bobby just watched the Howie thing recently. When you came in, I all thought we were so good because we walked by. I was like, nice to meet you. Just
Yeah,
kept
no,
like
I felt something. I was like, what's going on in here? I'm like, does he have OCD?
I would have normally been like, hey, man, what's nice to meet
Right,
you.
yeah, no, I'm not. That's not my thing.
I was
My
like, let's
thing
be
is
good people.
I was holding my tits the whole show because I didn't want my hands to get near you.
By the way, I was getting worried when I saw Bobby, as we all know from his acting days, handsy talking a little by your exposed knee.
Hey,
and
do
I was
me
like,
a favor,
Bobby.
Sit on those.
Dude, it was great having you in, man. Great
Thanks
meeting
so
you.
much. Thanks
We'll
so
see you in
much for
Austin,
having
man.
me.
We'll be down in
Podcast.
Austin pretty
Yeah,
soon,
thanks for
man.
having me.
And we'll have to have you back real soon, everybody. Robert Iler will be right back to say goodbye. It's the Bonfire.
That was great. What a great guy. Buddy, we're great. I say this. Bennington, watch your back.
We're coming for you, dog.
We're coming for the fishbowl, baby. We're coming for the fishbowl.
Ronnie B, the Bonfire's on your ass.
Yeah, he
I
was
wish we
great.
could be half as good as Ron
Yes,
Bennington.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
What a guest.
He was awesome. Great guy. Down to earth.
Yeah.
Love guys like that. I love guys who hate LA. I don't know why.
Oh, it tells me that you're like especially if you hate it for the reasons the things that I don't like about it. You're like, yes,
Yeah.
right. That sucks. Everything's a scene.
Everything's a scene.
Yuck.
Fucking yuck.
Like Dantana's.
But I do like Dantana's. I like LA with New York people.
Yes.
I don't like LA with LA people. I don't wanna,
There's listen. That house we get in L.A. That's now the second time we've got is so awesome to have.
It's great. Great time with New York people. I remember I used to go to stupid clubs with Dane, and he would walk in ahead of me, and I'd get stuck, and the door guy would just stick his hand in my chest.
Oh,
That
not
happened to me
you.
at the Comedy Store.
When
Jake
we-
kept walking, and I got held at the door with Justin, actually, and I was like, okay, we just have to wait. And I'm like, Jake, can you fucking please tell them that we can go back to sacred ground?
You daned her. You fucking daned your girl.
I shouldn't have gone back for her. This is how it was going to pan out. Robert Kelly's going to be doing the regs at the Gramercy Theater July 10th. After that, Portsmouth, New Hampshire, and San Diego, California. or you can catch him every Tuesday night, much like tonight, down at the Fat Black Pussycat Lounge at the Comedy Cellar, 7 p.m. show. For tickets and all tour dates, go to punchup.live/Robert Kelly, where you can catch a bunch of his content there too. A special.
Yeah.
It's a great.
Hey, and check this out. Anybody downtown tonight at the show, you want to come up and see Big J on YKWd, come down. BigJComedy.com, Atlantic City, July 27th. Get your tickets. Funny Bone, the 12th and the 13th. We'll see you tomorrow.